Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into something absolutely wild today. The seriously fascinating world of autonomous drone swarms. You know when you look up and see a massive flock of birds just effortlessly weaving through the sky, totally synced up without ever crashing? That right there is the literal inspiration for what we're talking about. We're going to break down exactly how engineers are teaching machines to pull off this exact same natural brilliance, navigating super complex dynamic spaces without a single collision. It is this perfect mind-bending blend of high-level math, robotic autonomy, and human strategy.
Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, let's anchor our entire explainer on this one beautiful metaphor. Think of swarm intelligence as a massive symphony orchestra, but one that completely lacks a conductor. There's no master computer sitting somewhere, individually puppeteering every single drone, micromanaging exactly where it goes and when it turns. Instead, every single drone is acting totally on its own. They rely purely on local interactions and some insanely smart programming to create this massive, cohesive, intelligent behavior. It really is a conductorless orchestra.
So, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the concept of the conductorless orchestra, then we'll get into the mathematics of the swarm, third, collision avoidance and safety, fourth, some practical indoor flight guidelines, and finally, we'll wrap up with the human composer.
Let's jump right into part one, the conductorless orchestra. Why do we even need swarms in the first place?
Well, think about it. A single drone is incredibly useful, sure, but systematically, it's kind of fragile. It has limited battery, limited flight time, and worst of all, it's a massive single point of failure. If that one drone goes down, well, your whole mission is just over. But when we switch to a drone swarm, we unlock this unparalleled resilience. Imagine trying to monitor a massive forest for early wildfire detection. A swarm gives you completely uninterrupted coverage. When one drone needs to recharge, another one just seamlessly swoops in to take its place. It creates this incredibly robust network that literally never sleeps.
All right, moving into part two, the mathematics of the swarm. Let's look at the sheet music that keeps these things flying.
We need to talk about something called ergodic control. Now, I know that sounds really heavy, but just think of it as a mathematical map. Instead of giving a drone strict GPS coordinates to rigidly follow, you give the entire swarm a probability density function, which is basically just a mathematical heat map of importance. The algorithm then automatically steers the drones so that the amount of time they spend in any given area perfectly matches how important we humans said that area was.
It's so cool how this translates into action. Basically, a human operator clicks on a screen, and the system instantly transforms those target points into a topographical heat map, the red zones being the high-priority spots. The swarm's ergodic algorithm reads this map and organically prioritizes its own flight path. It'll naturally swirl and loop through those high-priority red areas more frequently, constantly adjusting on the fly.
But you're probably wondering, how do they navigate these zones at high speeds without just smashing into each other? Well, researchers at VU Amsterdam ran simulations using a fascinating evolutionary optimization technique called CMA-ES. They tested millions of flight parameters, and what they found is that to operate safely at incredible speeds, we're talking up to 32 meters per second here, drones actually prefer smooth, extended braking zones over rigid, hardcore repulsion rules. They also rely on matching their speed with their neighbors, but smartly allow for a tiny bit of slack in that velocity. And that slack, that's the secret sauce. It lets the entire flock execute rapid, coordinated turns incredibly smoothly.
You can actually see these evolutionary algorithms working perfectly when simulating a massive group. Picture 100 autonomous agents flying together at once. It completely proves that with the right balance of smooth repulsion and a little bit of velocity slack, the swarm can scale up massively. They adapt, they stay cohesive, and they dodge each other flawlessly, all without a central computer calling the shots.
Okay, part three, collision avoidance and safety. Let's talk about keeping things safe in the real world.
To keep the swarm totally safe in reality, researchers use what are known as control barrier functions, or CBFs. You can honestly just think of CBFs as invisible mathematical force fields. Using quadratic programming, the system is constantly monitoring every drone's trajectory. If a drone is about to breach its 0.2-meter safety distance with a neighbor, or if it's about to smack into a physical wall, this CBF instantly kicks in. It overrides the main algorithm, recalculates velocities, and gently pushes the drone back into a safe zone.
Let's look at a real experiment testing this. At exactly 23 seconds into a flight, researchers intentionally forced one of the drones into an emergency landing, simulating a total hardware failure. The way the system adapts is just brilliant. The remaining fault-free drones instantly recognize the failure. They exclude the fallen drone from their threat potential and simply adjust their flight paths to keep monitoring right over it. The mission doesn't skip a beat.
Let's transition to Part 4, Indoor Flight Guidelines, looking specifically at the CMO safety rules.
Now, if you're ever inspired to try indoor drone flights yourself, Southeast Missouri State University, or CMO, put out some really essential practical guidelines. First off, always use nano or micro drones, ideally with indoor protective hulls. But here's a crucial piece of physics you gotta remember. Do not fly close to walls. The wall actually impedes the drone's airflow, messes with its lift, and will literally suck your drone right into a crash. To avoid sudden altitude drops, aim to fly right halfway between the ceiling and the floor. Keep your speeds at the absolute minimum. And yeah, secure your pets, because absolutely no one wants to explain to the vet why their cat was attacked by a mathematical probability function.
Finally, Part 5, the human composer. Where do we actually fit into all of this?
So, the algorithms we've been talking about, they are undeniably brilliant at avoiding collisions and doing the math. But they completely lack context. They still need a human composer to give them meaning. Human-swarm interaction is all about leveraging our superior cognitive ability to read an evolving situation. We provide the flexible real-time macro strategy, like pointing the swarm toward a dynamically shifting fire line. Meanwhile, the swarm effortlessly handles all that stressful, micro-level physics of the actual flying.
It all comes together in this beautiful loop. It starts with the human operator pointing out target locations on a digital map. That input instantly feeds into the software, turning into that probability map we talked about earlier, which can be visualized right in the system interface. Then, that data pushes directly to the drones, like tiny crazy fly quadcopters, which execute the mission in real time, calculating their ergodic control and those invisible force fields on the fly. It's a perfect synthesis of human intent and machine execution.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you pondering this rapid evolution in robotics. We've gone from painstakingly piloting single, fragile drones to deploying entire swarms that can think, adapt, and weave through obstacles as one cohesive unit. With this incredible blend of human strategy and flawless swarm intelligence, how long will it be before looking up at a flock of machines feels just as natural as looking up at a flock of birds? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep your eyes to the skies.